On News Channel 3, terrifying moments for one Memphis mother after she says her little girl was assaulted by a stranger. Coming up, how she managed to fight back. Plus, new information in the death of a Tennessee firefighter, why investigators now say he was murdered. We're following another crime alert this morning. Memphis police say they're looking for 2 people involved in a deadly shooting in Whitehaven. It happened at an apartment complex at Wesley Forest Place and Neely. Investigators blocked off that street. They wouldn't let people get to their homes. Police say they last saw 2 men driving away in a gray car. They haven't made any arrests. We're continuing to follow a frightening story we broke yesterday on WLUBA.com. Police are investigating a case of a 3-year-old girl sexually assaulted by a strange man while out playing at her Berkeley apartment complex. WREG's Luke Jones went there to speak with the girl's mother and neighbors who say they're now concerned for children's safety.
Tearful and terrified with a strange guy right beside her. That's how Elsa Velasquez says she found her 3-year-old daughter yesterday evening at the Macon Manor Apartments.
She was already crying. She was crying because the man already had her clothes down.
The girl told police this man, Jacobo Mendoza, pulled her pants down and touched her inappropriately. She'd been playing outside in this courtyard with her 8-year-old niece when she says Mendoza motioned over to her, then grabbed her by the hand and whisked her away to this wooded area where the attack happened and where Velasquez found him minutes later.
I pulled the man by his hair. I pulled his hair and he went running.
When police tracked him down nearby, he was apparently too drunk to give a statement. It's not clear where he's currently living, but we've learned he's a Guatemalan citizen and a familiar face at these apartments.
He always seemed like he was a friendly guy.
Which only makes this attack all the more unthinkable. A child traumatized at the hands of a man more than 15 times her age.
Thing is very, 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 very bad. We never see this in life, all my life.
For Velasquez, it only brought back memories. She says she herself was sexually assaulted when she was just 7 years old. With Mendoza behind bars, she's hopeful it doesn't happen to another girl.
Because if he couldn't do it to my girl, he could have done it to another, or already done it.
Mendoza faces charges of aggravated sexual battery and especially aggravated kidnapping. He's being held without bond while he waits for his first court appearance on Monday. An Arkansas man is going to prison for 50 years after investigators say he infected himself with HIV so he could spread the virus to others. 25-year-old Stephen Koch of Scranton, Arkansas, pleaded guilty to charges he tried to expose another person to the virus that causes AIDS. He told the judge he purposely wanted to hurt other people, but didn't say why. Investigators now say the drowning death of a Nashville firefighter is a homicide. 32-year-old Jesse Reed disappeared in March, and a fisherman later found his body in the Tennessee River. The autopsy report says blunt force trauma contributed to his death. The report also says Reed's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. Reed's wife told investigators his truck went into the river. They found that vehicle, but it took days before they actually found his body. A mail bandit is on the run today, accused of taking hundreds of pieces of mail right off a truck, and cameras were rolling to see it all. The suspect hit the Stone Bridge Crossing apartments in Cordova several times. The complex put up cameras after those reports, and they caught that person right there on your screen in the act. They found most of the mail behind the apartments. The letters were all okay, but a lot of the packages had been torn open and the contents taken out. If you know who this is in the video, call Crime Stoppers. And we have a crime alert in Helena, West Helena, Arkansas. Investigators say thieves use heavy equipment to steal an ATM from a bank. Take a look at this. Now detectives are working to track down who's responsible, and they're getting help from the FBI. The crooks broke through the Helena National Bank fence using equipment stolen from the high school only a half a mile away.
The property was scattered. Actually, the parts of the ATM was scattered throughout the area, all the way about 100 yards from this location.
Helena, West Helena's police chief says the thieves then drove the machine down Oakland Street and back to the high school. Investigators haven't said how much was stolen, but they tell us the damages will cost tens of thousands of dollars. If you know anything about the crime, they ask you to call their police department. That's in Helena, West Helena. Welcome back. We have breaking news first this morning of 2 overnight shootings in Memphis. Thanks for joining us for Daybreak. I'm Stacey Jacobson in for Nina. The first shooting happened last night around 11:30 off National. Police say one man was shot and pronounced dead at the scene. They say it started with a fight between two men that led to the shots fired. The suspect fled the scene in a black truck. Call Crime Stoppers at 528-CASH if you have any information. And the second overnight shooting to tell you about, Memphis police say this one happened around 3:40 in the morning off Malco Way. One woman was shot and transported to Baptist East. She's listed in critical condition. We'll keep you posted as we learn more. Well, thanks for joining us for Daybreak. I'm Stacey Jacobson. We'll have this morning's top stories, the rest of them in just a moment. But a man accused of shooting a police officer and then burning his car appeared in a Tennessee courtroom yesterday. The entire incident was captured on the deputy's body camera. Harriet Wallace has the story.
Yes, Your Honor.
In front of Sergeant Baker's family, who sat quiet and sometimes in tears, Stephen Wiggins says he's not guilty of Baker's murder.
They have lost an incredible father, a husband, a brother, and a son.
Friday in court, Wiggins appeared meek and his head hanging low, voice soft, and walking slowly, a stark contrast to the man described in this arrest report that describes a brutal and heinous crime, all caught on Baker's body camera.
It's an evil act, and evil is amongst us, and Satan's working to destroy everything that this country's built upon.
According to the record, Wiggins told Baker he had a flat tire and gave him a fake Social Security number. Baker ran the plates and learned the car had been stolen. He told Wiggins to get out of the car, but seconds later, Wiggins allegedly opened fire, shooting 10 times, some at close range after Baker collapsed on the ground. Baker, a 10-year veteran of the sheriff's office and former Marine, suffered from 6 gunshot wounds. But it didn't end there. Wiggins then allegedly dragged Baker's body into his patrol vehicle before driving it nearly 3 miles down the remote Bear Creek Valley Road and set it on fire. He's accused of trying to cover up the crime by pretending to be Baker when answering his cell phone and talking to dispatch.
And this is like someone has killed one of my family members. It's no different than if you broke in my house and killed one of my family members, and it's very devastating to us.
Erica Castro Miles, Wiggins' girlfriend, reportedly witnessed all of this happening before hiding from police. She too pleaded not guilty. Both have been appointed a separate public defender. Wiggins' attorney plans to request a change of venue for the trial set for August 19th of 2019 and a mental evaluation.
I just got appointed today. I haven't talked to him, so I don't know what his mental health was at the time. I don't know if he was under the influence of drugs.
And Wiggins faces 12 state charges as well as federal charges. Indictments on those federal charges are expected to come down soon. A Memphis tobacco shop owner faces aggravated assault charges after a fight over alcohol purchased at his store. Investigators say Ian Jeffries not only fought with the customer, they say he also chased him down with his SUV and then beat him with a wooden club. Police say the customer had to go for medical treatment. That entire incident was caught on camera. We've also learned this is the same man accused of fighting a local pastor because he wouldn't let him on his radio show. Jeffries is out on bond now. He'll head back to court in a couple of weeks. South Haven police say they responded to shots fired at one of their officers on Friday. They say the officer was responding to a domestic disturbance call. It happened in South Haven Park Circle, close to Highway 51 and Rasco Road. The police chief says no one was hurt, but no one was shot, but one officer did get hurt. They say there were 2 children inside the home at the time as well. No one else was injured. The person who fired the shots has not been identified, but we are following this story and we'll keep you posted as soon as we know more. An Arkansas man is behind bars this morning for some scary allegations dating back to an incident in April. Police say he held his ex-wife hostage and shot a man outside a Truman Walmart. The Jonesboro Sun says Truman authorities charge Gabriel Urabazo with capital murder. They say he was fighting with his ex-wife, held her at gunpoint, and when the woman's uncle moved in to help, Urabazo shot him. 35-year-old Robert Highfield died in the incident. A couple charged with second-degree murder appeared in a Crittenden County court yesterday. Authorities say they allowed their 17-month-old son to swallow a deadly amount of cocaine. Kadesha Bedford and Anthony Lewis pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and 3 charges of child endangerment. Bedford spent a day on the run from police before turning herself in earlier this week. Investigators say she and Lewis were dealing drugs out of a motel and left the drugs on a table. That's when the 1-year-old boy got a hold of them and put them in his mouth and later died. 3 other children were in the room at the time, but they weren't hurt. Both had bonds set at $125,000. Police say they're still looking for the person who tried to rob a pharmacy in Dyersburg. They say a man walked into Long and Gibson Pharmacy yesterday around noon and demanded narcotics. Now, that suspect didn't get away with anything, but they did take off. So if you know anything, call Dyer County Crime Stoppers at 731-285-TIPS.